The Senate passed a stopgap measure yesterday to end the federal government shutdown, and President Trump is floating the idea of a 50-year mortgage as a way to help buyers purchase a home. Good morning, I'm Korva Coleman from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson is calling for House members to return to review a government funding measure. The Senate passed the stopgap measure yesterday to end the federal government shutdown. The House could vote on it as early as tomorrow. NPR Sam Greenglass explains some of what's in the measure.
The Senate passed a stopgap funding bill lasting through January 30th after a more than month-long impasse that resulted in missed paychecks for federal workers, delayed food assistance, and air travel disruptions. The package includes a trio of regular appropriations bills funding some parts of the government through next September, as well as language to reverse the shutdown firings of federal employees and ensure that federal workers get back pay. But the deal does not include an extension of expiring subsidies for health insurance premiums. Democrats have been promised a Senate vote on legislation to address the healthcare subsidies, but that does not guarantee it'll pass or get a vote in the House. Sam Greenglass, NPR News, Washington.
Meanwhile, a federal judge is accusing the Trump administration of playing vindictive games when it comes to SNAP food benefits. NPR's Jennifer Ludden reports a court hearing yesterday examined whether states must essentially take back payments they made to SNAP recipients over the weekend.
After a court order to issue full SNAP payments late last week, some states rushed to get the benefits to people. But when the Supreme Court then paused the order, the Agriculture Department said states must immediately undo those payments and threatened penalties. New Jersey Attorney General Matthew Platkin says this makes no sense, especially given new moves to possibly end the shutdown.
This administration is still going to the Supreme Court to fight for the right to starve Americans.
A Trump administration attorney says states jumped the gun and should only send partial payments for now. Once the shutdown does end, we'll issue full benefits in 24 hours, he told the judge. Jennifer Ludden, NPR News, Washington.
President Trump is floating an idea that might help buyers purchase a home. He was asked about it yesterday in an appearance on Fox's The Ingram Angle with host Laura Ingram.
It's not even a big deal. I mean, you go from 40 to 50 years. And what it means is you pay something less from 30, that some people had a 40 and then now they have a 50. All it means is you pay less per month. You pay it over a longer period of time. It's not like a big factor.
The chief economist for the National Association of Realtors has this view. Lawrence Yun says that homebuyers may see small monthly savings on payments with a 50-year mortgage. But most of the upfront money would go to interest, and it would take borrowers almost 40 years of the 50-year mortgage to pay off just half of their balance. President Trump is again suggesting that money collected by the U.S. from tariffs on imported goods could be given to some Americans.
And one of the things we're going to do, we're going to issue a dividend to our middle-income people and lower-income people of about $2,000. And we're going to use the remaining tariffs to lower our debt.
But Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said over the weekend that the dividend could take several other forms rather than direct payments. Bessent suggested that could come from no taxes imposed on income from tips, overtime, or other areas. The U.S. Supreme Court is deciding how much power the president has to impose tariffs. President Trump has been writing online criticizing opposition to his actions on tariffs. A Utah judge has approved that state's new congressional map. From member station KUER, Martha Harris reports yesterday's decision is seen as a win for Democrats.
The redistricting in Utah was court-ordered. A Utah judge previously ruled the state needed new boundaries, and they had to comply with the state's law banning partisan gerrymandering. The heavily Republican legislature came up with a proposal, but the judge rejected that map in her Monday ruling. That's because she ruled it was, quote, drawn with the purpose to favor Republicans. So she picked another map, one submitted by the plaintiffs in the case. The chosen map creates one district that favors Democrats. That means Democrats could flip a seat in Utah in the 2026 midterms. The state's current House delegation is made up of 4 Republicans. For NPR News, I'm Martha Harris in Salt Lake City.
The Food and Drug Administration is removing stringent warnings about risks from hormone therapy products. These are used to ease symptoms of menopause and perimenopause. NPR's Sydney Lupkin reports on the change in the agency's stance.
Black box warnings on hormone therapies are the FDA's strongest. They're used to inform doctors and patients that a drug can cause serious or life-threatening side effects. The warnings had been on hormone therapies for more than 20 years and say the drugs increase the risk of certain cancers, strokes, and heart attacks. Now the FDA is removing the warnings, saying those risks were overstated. It's a change many doctors have urged the FDA to make, but they say the agency didn't follow its usual procedure for doing so. The FDA convened a special expert panel in July instead of using an existing advisory committee, which follows a stricter process for reviewing evidence and making recommendations. Sydney Lupkin, NPR News.
A frigid mass of cold air continues to blanket the eastern two-thirds of the country. A winter storm is pulling away from the Great Lakes region. Officials in the Chicago area delayed flights because of the storm. That's on top of reduced air traffic in the U.S. due to the government shutdown. A tropical storm is approaching Taiwan. Taiwanese officials have evacuated thousands of people away from the island's southern coast. The tropical storm was previously Super Typhoon Fenghuang, and it has already crashed through the Philippines. That's where it killed at least 18 people. The Philippines has had to face 2 strong typhoons in just a few days. Last week, a typhoon in the Philippines killed around 200 people. Yemen's Houthi rebels have sent a letter to Hamas. The Houthis indicate they have halted their attacks on Israel and on Red Sea shipping routes. That's as long as a shaky ceasefire holds in Gaza. NPR's Lauren Freyer reports from Tel Aviv.
Hamas's armed wing has published a letter online that it says it received from the Houthis. In it, the rebels say they're closely monitoring developments and threaten to return to military operations if the, quote, enemy, Israel, resumes its, quote, aggression against Gaza. The letter signed by the Houthi military's chief of staff. During the Gaza war, Houthi attacks sank ships, killed mariners, and disrupted global supply routes through the Red Sea and Suez Canal. The U.S. and Israel have bombed Houthi targets in Yemen in response. But the Houthis have not claimed responsibility for any attacks in more than a month. This letter is their clearest indication yet that the pause is in coordination with the Gaza ceasefire. Lauren Freyer, NPR News, Tel Aviv.
This is NPR. Hello, I'm Korva Coleman, host of NPR News Now. On behalf of the NPR newscast team, I want to personally thank you for your continued support. I also want to let you know that after November 14th, we're going to take a step back from producing the video version of NPR News Now. During the next few weeks, we'll take some time to create a new video format and explore other platforms so that we can deliver a smarter, more focused experience to our growing audience. But don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. While we will no longer publish this daily news roundup, you can still listen to NPR News Now on broadcast and on podcast and keep up with all the news from NPR by following us on your social channels, by listening to your local member station, or visiting npr.org. Thank you, as always, for watching.